Like and subscribe if you agree with the subject matter, and share. I haven't posted in a while because I've been concentrating on international world events and what is going on in Africa more so than what is going on in the United States. As I study the situation internationally during Black History Month, what is important about Black history is not the inventions, it is the war for freedom and equality. And that war is not over. And we need to concentrate and focus on the war that is being waged against Black people, melanated people, internationally. That is being waged against us internationally. Why do I say internationally? The concept of Black people and white people is an international concept that creates a division within the minds of people. This is why you see people who are on the line as far as the color of their skin going to drugstores and buying skin lighteners and buying bleaching creams because they have decided what side they want to be on internationally. And we have to understand that the war being waged against Black people is an international war. It's international, and it must be fought internationally. We cannot afford to divide ourselves from Africa. If we are African Americans, we cannot afford to divide ourselves from Africa. If we are Caribbean Africans, we cannot afford to divide ourselves from African Americans and from Africa. We can't afford to divide ourselves when Caucasians worldwide are united against us. We cannot divide ourselves internationally when Caucasians are joined together internationally to defeat us. Does this make sense to you? Years ago, I wondered, when would Black women, when or if Black women would fall prey to the narrative that Black men aren't this, aren't that, bad fathers, junkies, robbers, murderers, what have you. When would they fall prey to that false narrative? Well, that is today. They have fallen prey to that false narrative, along with the help of the feminist movement. Can Black women be brought back aboard the same ship that Black men are on? Can they be brought back? I don't know. It is up to them to answer the question and to realize that they are being mentally manipulated by a false narrative. Will they realize the war that is being waged against Black people every single day? Because the war that is being waged against Black men is also being waged against black women. Will they realize this? Are they paying attention to what is happening to black women? Black single women are coming up missing in the United States. Black single women without men are coming up missing overseas. Black single women are a victim of racism in the United States as well. They are given just a little bit more than black men so that they earn more, and men always want to earn more than the women because it is natural for men to be the protectors and providers. But if, due to systemic racism and the attack on the black family, if black men aren't permitted to work in jobs that we are qualified for, and black women are given positions ahead of us, then that is going to break up the black family and is going to feed the false narrative. Will black women realize this and join in the battle? Because the reality of the situation, women control sex, men control relationships. Black women saying that they are going to marry white men now is a false narrative because the only thing they can do is have sex. It's up to the white man to decide whether or not he's going to marry her, and more often than not, he's not marrying her. He's not marrying black women. But the point that I want to get back to is that black people have to come together internationally, as our enemies have come together internationally to defeat us. You hear a white man talking about, and this will never happen, but he's talking about, should we recolonize Africa? Well, white people did not decolonize Africa. Black people got rid of the colonization in Africa, but they did not get rid of the financial colonization, which is what is going on now with the coups. And we have to pay close attention to the fact that South Africa is going to the International Court of Justice to stop the genocide that is going on in Palestine, on the Gaza Strip. Understand this. If we allow this to happen to the Palestinians, then this will eventually come back to us. So we have to stop the genocide in Palestine so that it does not come back on to us. Understand this. Racism is not going away by itself. White supremacy is being defeated, but it is not going away by itself. And Martin Luther King isn't here to die for us again. It's time for all black people to stand up and do so in solidarity. White supremacists stand in solidarity from Europe to America and never hesitate to push their demonic agenda of world domination and black enslavement and colonization. They invented white and black to draw a color line that so many of us seem to ignore and hope that smiling, it'll all go away. It will not. The one thing we do not talk about when it comes to black history are the black battles we fought and won. It's nice to know that we practically invented everything. It would be nicer to know that everything we have fought for, we have not given back. Understand this. There are black sellouts or gatekeepers, and they're being used by white supremacists. And they allow them to pretend they're fighting for black rights, when in essence they're selling out by creating false narratives and dreams, all for a paycheck, while hoping their puppet masters do not drop the hammer on them. What they fail to realize is everything they have is on loan. The hammer is designed to drop on all black people. Whether we vote Democrat or Republican, it does not make a difference. We should only vote for that person who promises reparations. Democrats promise to study the situation while giving Asians a hate crime bill. The Republicans simply ignore reparations and talk about enslavement. Black puppets are too ignorant to understand the karma from reparations will give them far more than their puppet masters would ever give them. The black puppets fail to understand that there is more to gain from reparations than what their masters are loaning them. I'm going to close by saying, ignore the content creators who talk about voting for Republicans and Democrats, attacking each other. That is a division. We're simply prisoners. No matter how much money we have, we're all in the same boat. When stopped by a police, we have to put our hands on the steering wheel for safety. We can't hang out in sundown cities, whether we vote Republican or Democrats, whether we are a gatekeeper or not. So the reality of the situation is that we did not create the dividing line. It was created by white supremacists for the purpose of uniting themselves in a common cause for the exploitation and demonization of melanated people. We have all melanated people. We have the same enemy, and we should act in accordance, not just nationally, internationally. We must learn and know what's going on in Africa so that we can support them. They must know what we are going through here so that they can support us internationally. South Africa was talking about seeking reparations, not just for South Africa, for the colonization, but for the enslavement of the African people taken out of Africa. Our battle is an international battle. It is not a national battle. I have been learning the states, the countries in Africa. I've been learning the countries in Africa. I've been learning, I know who the Sahel region is. I know what's going on in South Africa. I know what's going on in Africa, period. I have to know. It is mandatory that I know so that I can support them. It is mandatory that they know what's going on here. And we know what's going on in the Caribbean. And we know what's going on in the Congo. That battle has been going on for decades. And it's one thing that we must understand. The United Nations is ran by the United States, and it is against us. The United Nations is against people of African descent. It is against us. It has always worked against us, and it has lied and pretended to work for us. And Africans are waking up to that. And we here in America and in the Caribbean should be waking up to that. African countries are kicking France out of their country. They are kicking Americans out of their country, the United States out of their country. There are 2 million illegal European immigrants in South Africa, and they have to get them out of their country because all they're doing is exploiting them. We have to know what's going on in Africa and offer our suggestions and our support, and we can do that over the internet. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.